Hi, Nasha.
Good evening.
Right. Um, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, so what have you got to say, mate? Right.
My cousin works in Playa del Americas behind one of the bars, and they work with Lucy's roommate. I won't obviously give any names because
No.
I'm assuming that that's not the right thing to be doing.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, my cousin said that on Friday when they went into work in the evening, they normally go for around about 7 o'clock to set up for the evening. Lucy's roommate come in and said that their apartment was searched that day by police and another authority. That was on the Friday of last week.
What was the date of that?
You'd have to double check.
Oh,
I'm
right,
not too
okay.
sure, but they obviously that wasn't announced anywhere because they can't be giving up people's addresses and where people are staying. But this was a place in Playa del Americas, which is where most of the staff out there work. Now you've got to bear in mind that 90%, I'd probably say, bear in mind I've done 6 summers myself out in Tenerife. In Playa, I lived in Los Cristianos and Playa, and that's where the majority of all workers live as well. But have you noticed that in anywhere, in any statements all over the media, not a single worker has been interviewed?
No,
And there's a reason for that because
obviously.
all workers have been told that anyone who talks to any press, anyone who talks to anyone asking questions, they'll lose their job, they'll
Yeah,
lose their accommodation there and
yeah,
then. So they've all been made well aware, and also as well understand that the majority of workers out there are 18 years old, up to probably the age of around about 30, living their best life, working 6 days a week. They're about
yeah.
to go into peak season out there, but workers do know a lot of information. They stick together, and again, I can talk to that. Like I can say from experience
From
myself,
experience,
they
yeah.
do, and again, they've all been so they're all quite scared about that, but
For
they're
sure.
just carrying on with day by day as general. They all go to work, they all stick together, they all go out with one another after work finishes to the places that are left open. All other bars all know one another. They all get cheap drinks. Majority of the time don't even have to pay. So,
Well,
but
that's
listen,
standard
people
across a lot
talk.
of the Spanish resort
Yeah, it
areas.
is.
Yeah,
Anywhere for that matter. Like I
yeah,
worked in Cyprus, in Napa
yeah.
as well. So yeah, it does. It's the same everywhere. Workers stick together, but they, as I say, it's, to me, from what I've been told, I believe it to be 100% true because Lucy apparently the next day then flew out to Lanzarote to allegedly go and stay with family. So anyone that's, and again, that's come right from her roommate direct,
Yeah,
and anyone that's saying, "Oh yeah, she's out there or she's returned to England," is not true. And I spoke to my cousin yesterday before they went to work, and yeah, they confirmed that she was still out there in Lanzarote, whether she's hiding out there or whatever. But what they did confirm was that when the police and whatever other authority it was that searched the apartment there, they were informed that Jay was there. That's the reason why that got searched. And that was like 2 or 3 days after the
after,
Airbnb got searched.
right,
So they searched that apartment because they were told on good information that he was there.
right.
And she stays, this is Lucy, apparently stays between two places, a place in Playa
Yep,
and a place in Los Cristianos.
yep.
And again, if you know them areas, you'll know they're not massively far from one another. Still a drive to Los Cristianos or a bus, but that's where she spends most of her time
Right.
between them two places. So they didn't find anything there. They were looking apparently for belongings of his, and the other authority took some DNA evidence, which is what they took apparently at the Airbnb there as well, because there's been amongst workers believe that there's been quite a few different sightings of him in a few different places, not obvious places, but
Right,
they also believe that at one point one of the workers was hiding him there as well,
right.
which I think possibly that may have been searched also. I don't know that for definite. My cousin didn't confirm that. But they said that amongst workers, it was believed that a worker was hiding him somewhere. And Yeah, that's as of yesterday. That's
Now-
all the information I know.
Now, just to give, and we'll dress this up as pure speculation.
Absolutely.
Just to give your opinion, do you believe that they were housing him, looking after him, keeping him somewhere, not under any restriction, but as in because he was fearful or because he was trying to keep a low profile or what?
Hard to say because, if you go on every single conspiracy theory that's been put out there as it stands at the minute, this one where they keep going on about, I think, again, forgive me, I don't know what words you can use or can't use on it, but the drug element, the theft element, and that. And you got to bear in mind that, when you hear things like that, if anyone, knows anything really about that, no one's going on holiday, because let's bear in mind, the lad's gone on holiday apparently for his first time.
Right.
He's not going to be going on holiday at 19 years old, being given a large quantity of the word I just mentioned earlier. It's honestly, some of the stuff is just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
and you having worked out there in those kind of fields yourself,
would never happen.
Not in a million years. The firms that run those places wouldn't trust a 19-year-old kid with a product.
No, they just wouldn't. And even at that festival, let's just say the lad was there, again, speculation. Let's just say the lad was there, let's say helping that trade, if you like. He's still not going to be walking around with £30,000 worth of, and it's
not even 500. Like, it's just unnecessary, and
it just would never happen. And the watch thing, I think that's from what I've been told, 100% true. And the other thing as well, it's just amazing. I don't
you're
get
told
people...
this by
That's a known thing. That's amongst workers. That's a known thing. But you got to bear in mind that lad had only been out there, I think, a couple of days. Obviously, that Lucy was introducing him and his group of friends to all the different workers that she knew.
Yep.
There was after parties and that every night, from day parties, etc.
Which is standard.
And it is. And let's have a look as well. Any single highlight of the lad that's in question here, every time you've seen him, he looks like he's, under the influence of alcohol, potentially. Yeah, and that's because that's what 19-year-olds do when they go on holiday, That's just...
And like I said, the statement that the Spanish police released to the press, saying about how it's now not, it's never been, or whatever, it's not a missing person via dead. They're not investigating that. They're looking at other lines of inquiries. To me, that's...
Well, that kind of confirmed it for me as well when what my cousin said was sort of like... Not that, that they wouldn't lie to me, and that's the honest truth, they wouldn't. But to hear that what these Spanish authorities have said... they are getting information every day of sightings of where he is, and obviously you're going to go with ones that are believable and not.
So you're saying people have seen him on the island, or they think
people have? It's been known to them, and I think that I don't want to get his name wrong, but there's some investigator that's into the is it Mark someone?
Yes,
he also mentioned it, didn't he, in one of his updates, if you like, that they're looking at different lines of inquiries where sightings of him have been highlighted, I think, from different places. But
now, in terms of this watch, because this is something that hasn't, there's been no evidence of this. There's only been hearsay and a very dodgy screenshot of a chat and a Snapchat. There's only been that and Mark Thompson alluding to it, but never really readdressing it. What evidence, other than just people talking on the strip, of this has the watch? What evidence is there of the watch was actually taken by Jay?
Again, I will only go on what's been said, and that was that a watch was taken from someone who was heavily drunk, who was taken advantage of, and I think that after, by the sounds of it, he's got himself a little bit scared when he's worked out that person wasn't just a nobody out there.
Right, yeah.
Okay, but can I ask, have you ever had a Rolex watch or an AP?
Yeah, it wasn't a Rolex, just to clarify that as well. Let me tell you something else as well that goes on Veronica's strip. So that's the main area, by the way, of where you get quite an influx of people, and it's a known thing that There's organised, I
Dippers.
won't say which ethnic group does it, but there's an organised ethnic group that look to steal wallets, watches, bags,
That's known, yeah.
cash. That has gone on for
Since Veronica's was around.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's a known thing. The police are aware of it. They always try and make out, but it's very, very well organised because these people they get into the bars, they get into the clubs there. It's gone on. The groups of people, I could tell you over the time that I was there, that you'd meet and they'd tell you, oh, I've just been over such and such, and this one's had this stolen, this one's had that taken, and they always prey on those that are most drunk.
Is it established that he stole the watch on the night before he went to the Airbnb? Is this what you're saying? Because by all accounts, Jay wasn't in any condition to steal the watch.
No.
Or was it a situation of he's
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to say. Yeah. Well, again, I can only go on what I was told, and that was that he was definitely involved in taking that watch, and he had that watch. And now, whether them people at that apartment knew that and wanted it, yeah.
Did you not say Lucy tried to get protection to get herself out of the country?
Yeah, she phoned the British Embassy. I don't know if have you seen all the phone calls she's alleged to have made, like not long after this, to all the different, and you'd think like, wow, you've pulled them out really quick without getting hold of all these numbers. She's done that because which is why I'm going, kind of. What's gone on here? Does she know more than she's letting on? She probably knows these people who are involved in where certain things get stolen out there, etc. And again, it's a hard one to tell. But why is she so scared? And why also after that apartment search? And bear in mind that her and the roommate both had to be present with the landlord. They didn't search either of them two, but they did searched the apartment, and as I say, there was two different authorities there. One was the police, and another one was guys that were trying to get forensic evidence, I believe DNA, from what, again, I've only been told. You've got to wonder why then the next day she flies out to Lanzarote to allegedly be going to stay with family that are out there. And she, for what she's involved in out there, apparently this is another thing as well, she wouldn't really be leaving this time of year when they're going into peak season. Well, in regards to the embassy thing, it only clicked to me because when my cousin mentioned that so when this was first going on, she was still making herself quite relevant around the area of Playa. And again, if anyone who's on here knows and has been to Playa, you would know that area. You would know what goes on around there. You'd know it's a very vibrant area at night time, particularly the season that they're in at the moment. And yeah, while she's trying to make herself busy in the sense of they're looking for him, obviously other workers that know her certainly have a different opinion in how she conducts herself out there. So
she's not doing herself any favours.
How many years has she been going over there, do you know?
Who? The roommate or Lucy?
Lucy.
Not a clue. I don't listen. I'll be very, very clear. I don't know that girl. I don't even know the roommate. What I do know is my cousin works with the roommate. The roommate
and there's a tight net.
Yeah, there is. And workers stick together. And like I already mentioned, as Unit's already said, there clearly understands how it works. I've done 6 years, as I say, out in Tenerife myself. I very much know how it works out there. I've not just done Tenerife, I've worked others as well.
And there are many clubs that will actually either take your passport or not to fuck with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the reason why
they stick together, they all do.
So there is a very much a code of ethics between people not to talk or not to fuck people over or not to steal, not to cross anybody.
They're a class of their own workers, and everyone knows them. If you go out there at the start of the season, you get introduced very quickly to all owners of all bars. All know where to go when you finish work. They all stick together. They do stuff on their days off together. That's how it is, and they've all been told they are not under any circumstances allowed to talk to any press, anyone asking questions, any media of any way, shape or form. Don't put nothing on any of your socials. And they have all been told they'll lose their jobs and accommodation if they do so. And I think a lot of them know that probably more would happen as well. So
Yeah, I think that's obvious, isn't it? Because you would have thought a lot of people would have came out now.
This is it. Yeah, you would have seen a lot more things.
And that's what I mean. We're 4 weeks in. We're 4 weeks in, and you've got to wonder
so many phones and so many people on social. Why has there not been so much been posted?
Why has not a single employee been interviewed by the media as of yet? You know, take that as you will.
I mean, I'm assuming the staff can speak to the police, obviously, or is it the bars that are basically saying don't speak at all?
Yeah, you know, so the bar, and as I say, the bar my cousin works in is, I would like to think, still one of the biggest, if not, I would say but there are a lot out there that, you know, get a lot of influx this time of year. They have all been told by all owners, they were all called to meetings to say what will happen if they are found out to be talking to or distributing any information on socials or speaking to anyone out there that comes and asks some questions about that person or anyone else.
Yeah. And does that include the police, or would they be okay?
That will be including the police as well.
Police, yeah. So in other words, they won't have all of that evidence, is what I'm thinking, in their pocket.
Which is why, which I know to be true, because the roommate of Lucy's, she had to be there present when that apartment was searched. Her, Lucy, and the landlord as well, whilst the police and whichever other authority it was that was there to search that apartment. And again, because the information that I was told was that they believed that he was there hiding, and as it stands out, it clearly wasn't. He's been reported seen in quite a few different places. And
even now, it passed during the searching. He's been seen.
Again, I only spoke to my cousin not yesterday, the day before, obviously, and he said again it's all talk amongst workers that he's been spotted in quite a few different places.
And you would say
that must hold some truth to it, because the news reports today are all talking how he's very positive, as if he is still around and he is still alive. They've not gone into any detail of what's gave him them thoughts, but it does sound like they've got some reason to believe that he could still be alive.
Yeah, and the police know as well. They're not going to get nothing out of any of the workers. They're not going to get any information out of the workers. They haven't even tried interviewing any of the workers. They've not asked, oh, well, who's this one? Who works there? They that Lucy come forward herself. She's not actually an official worker for anywhere. With again what she's involved in out there, but
so
she's
she
the one
is
that's
involved
all
in
the
stuff
information
out there, then, mate. She is.
What was that? What was that? Sorry.
In your belief, is she involved in all that sort of stuff out there?
Oh, that's 100%. She is, and it's not like her first skedaddle, if you like, of being involved in it. She's been doing it for quite some time. From again, what's been said, because the roommate, she lives with her, but the roommate is an actual worker out there. She works at the bar, whereas Lucy does not, and she's meeting different people in different places in X, Y, and Z, and
but still in staff accommodation.
And if you know how that works, you'll know exactly what.
Another quick question: out of like the workers' side of it, like when you were working out there, did people randomly just go missing for a few days and stuff? What I meant by that was missing as in getting involved with dodgy people and then things happening. Is what I meant.
Yeah, that's people are going to want to, as I say, after a festival. Yeah, of course it does. People, I'll go from the times I was out there.
That's what I meant.
You know, saying that, my mate, we've lost him. He ain't been back for a couple of days, and that generally does happen. And all of a sudden, they've resurfaced.
But
now,
you wouldn't go and report him missing.
And that's what she did. She knows everyone out there, and she's reported him missing after a phone call. Yeah. That's what doesn't make sense to me. She knows a lot more than she's letting on, because literally after a phone call, she's phoned up allegedly all these different, police, 911s, was it emergency services and then British Embassy, all these people. She's wanting to get involved so quickly.
That was the bit that I was saying a bit about earlier on. I'm not going to mention names again. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that before. But that was some of the questions that was asked.
And
so, yeah.
She's obviously there's some involvement from her side, because she didn't want to be seen on there as well.
Yeah.
Any of her media, her eyes are always covered.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be shown in that. Yeah, she doesn't want the emphasis on her. And again, from what I've been told, she's apparently made herself busy for the first couple of weeks, setting up the GoFundMes and whatever else, and, you know, helping out, putting these posters up. Allegedly, she knows all the workers out there. They all know one another. So that Lucy knows a hell of a lot more than she's let on. And I've listened to that interview probably a good maybe 10 times now, and you can just tell and she might be a little bit scared talking on the news, that's understandable, but she backtracks.
It's not even her voice.
A lot of stuff.
It's not even her voice. It's like an actor's voice talking.
Oh, is it really? What? So it's not actually her voice talking? If
you listen to it, and I was talking to a reporter earlier who messaged me, who was in my live, and I said to her, that's why I was going to talk to Thingy after. But it basically, so when she was facing away, that when they do, you know, when someone doesn't want to be known on camera, they have someone. Yeah,
normally have a different voice. That's right.
Apparently, it was not an AI voice, but like a voice talking. Because it didn't match with her body language or something like that, and all I'm really, really grateful for you jumping in here and chatting and all that.
You're most welcome. No, absolute pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. And
thanks, Nashy.
Yeah, nice to talking to you all, and I hope to speak in the future.
Yeah, stay safe.
Thanks.